Hey there, and welcome to the Fumble Forward podcast, the show where we use life's guaranteed imperfect moments to grow into better people. I'm your host, Aquia, and I'm so thrilled to have you on this incredible journey. And this season, Happy Yourself, we're on a mission to uncover the secrets of happiness, deepen our connection with God, and nurture the kind of connections that light up our lives. So let's talk about the good, the bad, and the beautifully imperfect. Y'all hear that? That's my new intro. Yes, I did something. I have been adding something kind of every episode. And if you can believe it, we're at episode 8. Time is flying by, y'all. And it has been such a journey to figure out how to run and operate a podcast. But honestly, mostly it's been really fun. I've been feeling like I've embedded fun into my life as an adult, which is huge. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like being an adult just naturally sucks out the fun out of things. And this has infused it back into my life. So I thought it'd be great to kind of have that intro in the beginning for whenever someone new joins this movement and community that we have here. And that also, I'm back on YouTube. Yes, your girl is back. We fell off there for a little second because if y'all remember, episode 2 disappeared into the ether, never made it to YouTube. I dropped episode 3 on YouTube, but it just felt like so much going on. But God is good, and my cousin spoke words of encouragement into me that no, you got to put your episodes on YouTube. And so I didn't give up, and we're back. And so now it's really just a screenshot explaining that's what episode it's in, what episode it is, and then the audio. So just keeping it nice and simple. Eventually, one day, y'all, I'll be there where we're having real recordings and you get to see my face and all that different stuff. But I just wanted to share those with you because I am pumped. But really, what we're talking about here today, actually, it does relate to the YouTube video, and it's talking about capacity, y'all, and how it gets you to a happier you, because it's really about the relationship you have with yourself. And y'all know that's a big part of this podcast, just understanding the relationship we have with ourselves, which is really inviting big time self awareness. And so I wanted to talk about capacity, acknowledging it, what it looks like, and how it shows up in your life, because I genuinely feel like it's something that just goes under the radar, that people don't talk about really in personal development or faith much at all. Or at least if they talk about it, they're using different words. But I want to talk about capacity specifically, and really just being honest with you all of where I was, where I'm at now, and where I'm trying to go. And in hopes that you also understand capacity and how it could show up for you. Because I'll be honest and say, I tend to take on a lot in my life, whether it was personal or professional. And I just really had this thought that if I can, I should. Uh, yeah, it depends. It's not that clear. It's not that crystal clear. But what is clear is the amount of freedom and relief I found in understanding capacity. Huge, guys. Huge, huge, huge. So y'all, like, at the end, I will share the real question to ask yourself regarding capacity to get you to where you and your capacity are like white on rice. Understand each other tight like spandex. Okay. But before we hop in, I did want to share with y'all that I'm reading a new book. It's called Jubilee. Oh man, I wish I had the book. I couldn't remember the artist's name, but it is very different for me right now. It's non no, it's fiction, and it's just been really interesting. It's very untraditional read, um, and I'll leave it at that. I'll give more later. I'll give more later. But Jubilee is the new book that I'm reading. I hope you guys are reading, staying fresh, getting inspiration, all the things. But before I share with you all the real question you need to be asking yourself at the end of this episode, I want to share with you all the aha moments that I've had with capacity. And honestly, most of these ideas really came from taking the time to write, to be in my journal, to have my space where it's just safe, and it's just me talking to me and understanding what's going on. And that's honestly why I'm dropping the Flaws and All journal, Fumble Buddy journal. And it's really just for you to have that space where you can write and reflect and get understanding so we can get to and grow into our better selves. So that's available and it will be in the show notes for you all to grab. But all right, let's get into it. So the first aha moment that I really had when it came to capacity was understanding good intentions, but I'm doing the most. Good intentions, but I'm doing the most. Now, I say that because I tend to do a lot for people that I love. And it's not because I'm necessarily expecting anything from anybody, but it's just like my gut reaction, y'all, to give and serve. This house, however, however, has led me into a few times where I've gotten caught up. Okay. And so I started feeling like no one was showing up for me and the way I was showing up for them, da 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 da, self pity, all these things. And I had this aha moment. And it really stemmed from conversation that I had with a coworker when we were going through Matthew chapter 7. And she said, we have to consult with the Lord in doing good deeds also. So the lesson I got from that was that I didn't consult the Lord on the good deeds I had before I did them. And I feel like loosely we all know we should consult the Lord in the things that we're doing and things like that. But I really didn't apply that very much. I heard it. I was like, that makes sense. But I wasn't doing it. And so that was big for me. Just taking a beat, consult with the Lord. Is this even what you want me to do? Because doing something with good intentions that causes harm still causes harm, right? So that was huge. So the application I've been really applying for understanding my capacity is that ask God, then act. Ask God and then act. So my second aha moment that I had about capacity was I'm not the Energizer Bunny. I do indeed need rest. Yes, I am not the Energizer Bunny and I need rest. And y'all, I embraced fully that I was a higher energy individual and I have been since I was a little wee one. And I embraced that as a strength of mine. What I didn't really see was that by embracing this trait of high energy so much, I was neglecting rest. Yeah, what a concept. I was neglecting the idea of rest because it somehow was only available to me if I had finished what I needed to do or a reward of some sorts. And I pre 2020, I would love to have a slammed weekend, y'all, like filled with activities. And if I had a trip, I wanted that trip filled from sunrise to sundown. Like legit, that was the kind of person that I was. But the lesson that I've learned from that is if I don't rest, my body will force me to by making me sick or making me sleep through my alarms. Both of which have happened to me a multiple of times, y'all. And I used to be like, oh my gosh, how could I sleep through my alarm? I know my alarm. I wake up and my mom would always be like, I guess your body needs the rest. Like that was legit always her response. I guess you needed it. And my body knew, okay, you ain't gonna listen to me? Cool. We're gonna make you rest. So that would happen to me all the time. And then it's like, if God had to rest when he created all that he did, who am I? So, I've just had to have some humbling moments, okay? When it's come to rest and my energy level and all those things. And so the application that I've really been having is plan rest like I plan everything else. Plan rest like I plan everything else. I really lean into plans. I like having plans. And so I am focusing on utilizing what I like and do best to embed things that I need in my life, which is rest. And so that's been huge for understanding my capacity and having my capacity be as full as it can be, as often as it can be. So, my third aha moment was I can't be everything to everyone. I can't be everything to everyone. And one quote I hear often that I just really appreciate the perspective is that I can do anything, but not everything. And I think that's just so powerful to hear because I think my generation of millennials in particular heard so much of you can do anything, you can do anything, you can be anything. It's just like the truth is that's not true. That's actually a lie. And that's not even necessarily a bad thing. You don't need to be able to do anything. You have your space and you have your lane of genius, right? But just leaning into that because I really, man, like I was trying to be the everything friend, the everything daughter, the everything coworker, and it just left me exhausted, y'all. And I felt short, like I was falling short as well. And so I just had that revelation writing in my journal, journals like flaws and all, where I had to release that pressure I created for myself. No one gave me that pressure, not in the way I was giving it to myself, at least. I had to release that pressure I created for myself and give it to the Lord. Give it to God to handle that and navigate it as He sees fit. And so the lesson I really got from that was embody Psalms 55:22. Cast your cares on the Lord and He will sustain you. He will never let the righteous fall. And that is just an invitation to not have to hold everything. The truth is, we are finite in our capacity. Like, we have limitations. And that is not necessarily a bad thing because where your limit stops, God steps up and He takes the rest. So I really leaned into that and fully started to apply that to my life. And so now what I'm really applying is I ask God, what's the move? And then get the details of I'm asking for strength or wisdom or patience or whatever quality I need next. So that's huge. And I would say my last aha moment when it comes to capacity is that it's okay to ask for support. It's okay to ask for support. Now, I have always been willing to ask for help, support, you name it, from the jump. Like, I just always have. To me, I'm like, shoot, if someone's been there before, why am I struggling in these streets? Da 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 da. But what I'm challenging myself to do more is in the more intimate, private areas of my life, ask for support. And maybe even in places of my life where things are seen as kind of taboo. So that's really like the lesson that I gleaned in that I learned was just lean on to others that have been there before you. Like I'm just a firm believer if someone has been there, why am I out here struggling in these streets? Like I don't help me understand people. Help me understand. But the application that I've been applying is that I'm really working on creating a go to list of people to help me in different areas of my life, whether that's real estate, finance, relationships, my faith, exercising, skincare. You just fill in that thing. That's what I'm working on building that list. And that's just been so powerful for me because again, your girl ain't trying to hold everything. I can't, y'all. Like, no, I don't want to. And thank God I don't have to. So those were really, really big with capacity. And now I've shared these four aha moments I've had with you all about capacity. And now it's time for the big question, y'all. Okay. So with all that I just said, I want to also say this. For I can do everything through Christ who gives me strength. Philippians 4:13. Now the key here is like that scripture can be kind of contradictory to everything I said in some ways. Like I could see somebody being like, huh, what? But the key here is, what is the discernment? Like, do you have discernment in knowing what is everything? Putting quotes around everything is for you, because that looks different depending on who you are. And everything doesn't mean you're doing everything. Everything means you're doing everything of the right things. Marinate on it, y'all. Sit on it, lather in it, roll in it, soak it in, because I truly believe when you start dissecting that and getting to the core, you will understand where you need to be in your element for capacity. Okay? And honestly, I'm applying that to all aspects of my life. Even as, I love to tell y'all how I'm building community. Well, one way I'm building community is initiating hangouts and creating moments to gather. That also requires me to acknowledge my capacity. If I have a lot going on in one weekend, I'm not going to plan a hangout that weekend. I'm going to move it to the next weekend where I don't got anything going on. And that's because I'm understanding my capacity and being honest about it and navigating accordingly, And so those are the big things with capacity. I just feel like we don't give it enough acknowledgement and focus in our life that we need to. And then we wonder why we're burnt out. We wonder why we're frustrated. We wonder why we're confused. We wonder why we're always sick. We wonder why we're always tired. It's because we're not, many times, taking intentional time in our lives to understand our capacity and what that looks like, and understanding that that changes at different seasons, right? Your capacity when you're in high school looks different than your capacity in college, compared to your capacity when you're newly married, compared to your capacity when you just got a kid, compared to your capacity when you just started traveling a lot for a job, etc., etc., etc. But I just love having this conversation with you all, because capacity, y'all, it helps you get a sense of how to make yourself happier, because you understand yourself better. And I just encourage you all to share this episode with a friend who's struggling to know their capacity or reinforcing their capacity boundaries, because sometimes we just need a different perspective. You feel me? So, thank you so much for listening and sharing this episode with a friend or loved one. And of course, please don't forget to subscribe. And not only is there We All Fumble Forward mugs available, but like I said, the Flaws and All journal is out. And this is really for you to create the space and time to reflect on your mistakes, wins, and everything in between to get to the better you. So, link to the merch is in the show notes. And I just want to remind you, you are awesome. And with that, until next time.